beginning because we trust God with the outcome. We just say, Lord, I don't know how you're going to work it out, but you're going to work it out. Hello. My brother Jim, that I told you the story about a while ago, he said, was you praying for your, he said, I just told the Lord, there's no way we're going to be able to make ends meet. He said, God, you're going to have to work this out. He said, I didn't think no more about it. I just trusted God. And then in return, God laid on another person's heart the exact amount to send to meet the need. Isn't that God? Come on, Tom. It's when you trust God with the outcome. It's when you trust God with the outcome. Now, believe me, you've got to learn to trust God. It's a process. Because listen, and I'm almost done. Listen, time and space are limitations of the creature. We're governed by time. We're limited by time. But it's not a limitation of the Creator. He don't get in a hurry sometimes. He don't get in a rush. Hello. He kind of just does it in his own time. Hello. People say, well, do you think God's mindful of what time it is? Yeah, he is mindful that it's 7:53 right now on a Wednesday evening, but to him, time has no real meaning. He's the one that was before time. Amen. He's the one that was created time. He's the one, Brother John, the Bible said, that was and is to come. Hello. So when God looks down upon us, He sees the panoramic view of us. He can see what we did yesterday, but He can also see what we're going to do tomorrow. Because He's God. And just because it's midnight in your life today, and you've got a need that needs to be met, and you've been praying and trusting God for the outcome, believe me, it's not no limitation to the Creator. It's a limitation to the creature. We're the one that gets bent out of shape when we don't get what we need when we need it. It doesn't move God at all. So when we look at this, and I want to quickly go through this, when we look at this, look at what it said. Learning the process of trusting God is a matter of putting faith into practice. And the more that you put faith into practice, the more you honor God and you trust God. Now, I didn't put it on the screen, but I want to kind of give you 3 areas tonight where this is demonstrated. And you can write it down, and in your personal time, I want you to look it up, because in the book of Daniel, chapter 1, chapter 3, and chapter 6, 1, 3, and 6, it shows the process of really learning how to trust God in example. I don't want to get bogged down there, but chapter 1 is God's divine provision. It's how God honored and blessed Daniel for not defiling himself by eating the king's meat, and God rewarded him. So there's always going to be, Sister Donna, God's provision in our life. If you'll do what God says do, He'll provide for you. And then in chapter 3, it's divine preservation. That's where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, we're not going to bow, we're not going to bend, we're not going to burn. You know what happened? They trusted God with the outcome. What was the decree? When you hear the music, you got to bow down. They said, we're not going to. And you know what the 3 Hebrew boys says? O king, we don't care what you do to throw us in that fiery furnace. Go ahead and throw us there. But still, we're not going to worship you. They trusted God with the outcome. When you get to the place where you trust God, God will preserve you and keep you. And number 3, divine protection. Chapter 6 of the book of Daniel. God closed the lion's mouth. And it wasn't the lion It wasn't Daniel that lost his lunch that night. It was the lion that lost their lunch. Hello? And it's all because these people learned how to what? Trust God. And it's a matter of putting your faith into practice. It's not easy, but you've got to do it. So I also wrote at the end of that, because listen, and not using it as a last resort. What do you mean, preacher? A lot of folks will come to the church or come to the preacher or come to God with their problem as a last resort. Anybody been guilty of that besides me? I've tried everything else. Brother John, I've tried to work it out on my own. I've tried to put legs on those prayers and get them going. Hello. And then finally, when my back's against the wall, Sister Joanne, there's nothing more I can do. Then I finally go to God with it as a last resort. You know what God sometimes tells me? Why didn't you come to me first? Why didn't you bring this to me 3 weeks ago? Or 3 months ago? Why didn't you come to me first? Because Sister Joanne, living by faith and not by sight is always trusting God with the outcome and not what you see. People talk about, preacher, if I could just see it, then I would believe it. And if you could see it to believe it, then you wouldn't need faith. You see that? Where are you tonight? Well, let me close it. I like to read to you. I didn't put it on the screen, but I want to read to you Psalms 37. Sister Donna was talking about Psalms today. Psalms 37, verses 1 through 7. Real quick. Do not fret. Don't worry because of evildoers. Nor be envious of the workers of iniquity. Look at what he says. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, Sister Donna, and do good. Dwell in the land and feed on His faithfulness. Has He been faithful to you? Has He ever failed you? Just trust Him. Then look what He says. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He shall give you the what? The desires of your heart. Now, believe me, I've learned a lot of that verse right there, because a lot of times I go to the Lord with a desire that I have, and by the time I get through talking to Him, I say, well, Lord, forget that, because my desire changed. I just thought I needed it. I just thought I had to have it. By the time I got through talking to Him about it, my desires done changed. Hello? Come on, talk to me. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. Verse number 5. Commit. Now here's where you get guilty. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He will bring it to pass. That word commit means to give it to Him and leave it in His hands. Commit it to Him. Don't take it back. That's where we get the word committal. When you commit something, you're turning loose of it. You no longer have control of it. God does. If you commit your way to the Lord, trust Him, He'll bring it to pass. And it gets good right here, Sister Donna. And He shall bring forth, verse 6, your righteousness as the light and your justice as the new day. He knows what to give you and when to give it to you. He is justice. He is righteous. He is faithful. He is true. And all you've got to do is trust Him. And then last but not least, number 7, rest. Well, that don't mean, Sister Joanne, you give it to Him and pick it right back up and take it home with you. It means rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. And I went back to the original, and it says, wait patiently for Him to do it.
Right. Amen.
It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come next week. But you've got to wait patiently for Him to do it. Don't fret. Don't worry. He ends it. Because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass. So don't worry about that. That's where we get guilty, Sister Linda. We start saying, "But Lord, you're blessing them, and you're blessing those wicked people, and you're starting to justify and judge other people." Say, don't look to the right and left. Don't fret because of those who prosper in their way. You just trust God and let Him work it out. So let me end it like this. Each day, we need to live by faith as we face challenges in our walk. Each day, God faithfully honors and fulfills His Word. If you'll stand on His Word, He'll faithfully honor and fulfill it. As He provides for you and cares for His children, you just got to learn the process of trusting the Lord. I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you. You've been so faithful. You've been so true. You've never failed me like I failed you. You might have been there. Amen. I'm trusting you, Lord. I'm trusting you. I don't care if they live to be 103 years old like my grandmother. She still learned how to trust God.
Amen. Amen.
You never arrive at the place where you don't quit trusting God. And I don't know what your need is tonight, but I just feel like somebody in this place needs to take your burden